Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to the video for Monster Hunter Rise, and in this one we are back with another top 5 weapons video, and we're turning our attention to the longsword since we have also done the longsword weapon tutorial. As always, this is a combination of weapons that I both think are awesome from damage, affinity, and also a style point of view. These are my personal top 5 picks. If you guys have got your own longswords that you really like that I haven't mentioned, by all means let me know down below and let me know why you chose them. But these are, if you're looking for some weapons to craft, some weapons to get started with, some good longswords that you should check out. So if you do enjoy this, a like would be super appreciated. But to begin with, let's start with Naga Cougar, the Deepest Night. Goes without saying, it is the weapon to go to if you want white sharpness. It has 180 raw, it has white sharpness, it's got 40% affinity, and it has a level 2 slot. So for white sharpness alone, this is a monster. Of course, it has the affinity as well, which is fantastic from the crit point of view. Longsword is definitely a weapon that can benefit from that nicely. However, on top of that, when you look at some of the rampage skill options, you have attack boost 3, affinity boost 2, or Master Rider. So, you know, some decent options there if you want to lean more into the affinity side of things, or if you just want to boost the base attack. Overall, it's a very good weapon, high sharpness, high affinity, and you can get up to 100% with Weakness Exploit and Critical Eye or Latent Power. So, a good pick. However, moving on from there, in at number 2, we have the Rathalos Blade, the Wyvern Blade Blood 2. This one, higher raw than before, so it has 200 raw. It has blue sharpness, so obviously, you know, you're not gonna, in Monster Hunter Rise, you don't get too many weapons with white sharpness, but this one has blue sharpness and it's got 32 fire, so obviously if you want to lean into, like, keep in mind, longsword is also a relatively fast stacking weapon, so you can definitely get some value out of elemental builds, even though people tend to gravitate more towards the raw side of things, so this is a nice fire option. And on the ramp up side of things, you have Element Exploit, which is a really good rampage skill for elemental builds. So if you do want to lean into the fire side of this, then I highly recommend checking that out. Overall, it's just a good pick if you want a fire longsword. After that, for those of you looking to lean more into the raw side of things, you have the Anjanath Blade. The, you know what? I'm not even going to try and pronounce the last word, because I'm going to butcher it. Basically, the Anjanath Blade. This one has 230 raw, it also has blue sharpness, it has 25 fire, but you are not choosing this one for the fire damage. You're choosing this because it has the highest raw on the longswords, but it does have negative 20% affinity, but it also has a level 2 and a level 1 slot. However, the reason this is useful, because you have the ramp up skill Brutal Strike, which is a chance to increase damage with negative affinity attacks. So you can kind of, to a degree, see this as a way to negate that affinity and then just, you know, have a nice high raw damage sword. So great option if you just want to spec more into the damage side of things. Then moving on from there to number 4, the Almadron Blade, the Doombringer Blade. First things first, before we even talk about stats, this just looks super cool. I love all the Almadron weapons, but I love the way this blade has sort of got this interesting curve to it, almost like this sort of S-shaped thing. Very, very awesome. Even down to the sheath on the back, it's just this little sort of Metroid-looking circle ball thing. I like it, alright? Almadron stuff is really cool. However, if you want to lean more into the water side of things, this is a fantastic water longsword, again, for the elemental builds. 180 raw, blue sharpness, 48 water, which is quite a substantial amount. And again, this has a level 2 slot and a level 1 slot, so you have some nice things that you can gem in. Plus, again, on the ramp up side of things, you have Element Exploit, which again allows you to lean more into the element for those builds. So if you're looking for a water option, this is your pick. And then finally, the Ice Tree, the Rime Blossom. Surprise, surprise, if you're looking for an ice longsword, then this is a good pick. This one has 210 raw, so pretty high raw, not the highest obviously, but pretty high considering. It also has blue sharpness and it has 27 ice. On the ramp up side of things, you've got Ice Boost 2, you have Silkbind Boost, which is more elemental or silk attack damage, and you have Attack Boost 2, so you do have a nice selection of rampage skills. And it also looks really cool. I like the sort of, you know, icicles forming around the hilt. I even just like the icicles that are sort of on the actual scabbard itself. So, or the sheath, one of those ones. Anyway, point is, it looks really cool. It's a nice looking weapon, and if you want to lean into the ice build, if you find something like Naga or something else that is weak to ice, then consider taking this with you. Then, to round it all out, of course, the bonus mentions, I like to throw these ones in there. This is more so from the cool factor. You have both the Magnum Marlowe weapon and the Naga weapon. The Sinister Shade sword, of course, you know, stat-wise, it's not bad. 200 raw, blue sharpness, 23 blast, and some good slots. There are obviously better picks out there if you're leaning more into kind of raw damage and stuff, but blast is nice. you know, some nice added damage. But the main thing is, I just really like how this one looks. I love the hilt of the blade. I love the actual blade itself. I just love everything about Magnamolo's design. So this one has to be a pick. And obviously the Zenoga one, the Despot Bolt Breaker, also mentioned this one the other day, but this one I'm just choosing because when you power up your longsword, you get the crazy thunder pulsating around the blade. Again, this is actually pretty good if you want a thunder longsword. You know, you've got 200 raw, blue sharpness, 34 thunder, and some nice slots. But these ones, they're mainly my picks because they're just cool weapons. Anyway, there you have it. That's a rundown on my top 5 longsword recommendations, plus a couple of bonuses. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and of course, be sure to keep it locked for plenty more. If you want to catch more from us at Arekkz Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys 269, Paradise Central, and Investmore streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below, and of course, you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.